Well, hi, and thanks for stopping by the Pellets and Pistons Airgun channel. We've got another gorgeous day here in New England. I'm just loving this weather. Absolutely gorgeous. But today we're here to talk about my RWS Diana Model 34 air rifle. Now, if you've been watching the previous videos, you'll know the saga with this gun. We started with a gun that had a 30 foot per second spread when you fired it. I went ahead and ordered an ARH tune kit for the gun, an Air Rifle Headquarters kit from Jim McCarry. It came in, but however, I had neglected to order a piston seal. But when we pulled the gun down, it looked okay. The piston seal looked like it was going to do a good job. It wasn't all chewed up. It was still in pretty good shape, so I decided to just go ahead and reassemble the rifle using the original piston seal. So we went ahead and put the kit in, put the piston back in with the original seal, put it back on the chronograph, and the extreme spread dropped to 22 feet per second, but I was hoping for something a little more dramatic than that. I was hoping to get it down to somewhere around 10 feet per second as far as the spread goes. That's what I really had in mind for a goal. So at any rate, I went ahead and ordered that piston seal. While I was at it, I ordered a new breech seal, and we're going to go ahead and install those today. So stick around, this ought to be fun, and thanks again for stopping by the Pellets and Pistons Airgun channel. So of course the first step is to remove the stock from the rifle. There are two pins at the rear of the receiver tube. Both of these will have to be removed in order to disassemble the rifle. The first pin can be removed without any real concern. However, the second pin, when you punch that out, you have to be certain to keep the punch in place so that the spring and trigger group don't fly out of the gun. It's very easy for that to be forgotten, so just pay attention and make sure that you leave your punch in place until you're ready to restrain that mainspring. Here I'm going to apply some downward pressure on the bench. And as I do, then I'm going to slowly pull the pin and then slowly let the tension off of the mainspring by releasing pressure downward. Now the trigger group can be removed, as well as the spring and spring guide. You'll notice the spring is well greased with spring tar. That's because we already had this gun apart in a previous video, you may remember, which is why we're doing this video, is to replace some parts that we didn't replace when we originally put the new spring kit in this rifle. So there's a screw that runs through the barrel pivot portion of the gun. That screw must be removed, which will free up a spanner nut on the opposite side. Then there's a roll pin that the barrel actually pivots upon that must be driven out gently. Once the pin is out, the barrel is free to be removed from the forks of the receiver. Once the barrel is free, you can manipulate the cocking arm and remove that from the receiver as well. There are two bearing washers on either side of the barrel. Be sure not to lose those. Those are important. Now we can remove the piston so that we can get at that seal. We'll clean this up because we have to handle it in order to replace the piston seal. pry off the old seal, and then we're going to install a new seal. There's a trick to this. Whenever I run into a real tough seal, I'll heat up some water to the boiling point in the microwave, and then I'll drop in the piston as well as the piston seal to get them up nice and hot, so that'll keep the rubber of the seal pliable, and then it seems to make it a lot easier to install that seal, especially when you run into one that's a little tougher than normal. This is just moly paste or moly grease. We're going to apply a little bit to the bearing surface of the piston as well as to the edge of the piston seal. Insert the piston back into the receiver, being sure to align the piston slot with the slot in the receiver. Here I'm applying pressure to the edge of the seal as it passes the last little bit of that cocking slot to help avoid any damage should it catch on the edge of that. Now I'm just making sure that the slots are aligned between the piston and the receiver tube. From there we'll move on to the barrel where we're going to replace the breech seal. It's a simple matter of prying it out with a pick. This one proved to be very hard and it lost most of its resiliency, so I'm sure that was part of the issue with the rifle being inconsistent. Maybe the breech seal wasn't sealing after all. Beneath the breech seal is a metal washer. You want to be sure not to lose that. That acts as a spacer and keeps that seal at the right height. Here we'll lubricate the seal with a little bit of silicone grease, and that'll help to keep it pliable over time. Again, remember that little washer and try not to lose that. Just press the seal in, and that's it. This can be done without disassembling the rifle. Holding on to those bearing washers, you can go ahead and slip the breech block back in between the forks of the receiver tube. Align that hole, and then you'll be able to replace the roll pin. You'll need to apply some downward pressure on the pin as you wiggle things around, and it should find its way back through the forks. Next, the screw and the spanner nut are replaced. You want to screw that screw down with just enough tension so that the barrel will maintain its position at whatever position you put it in its arc. So you can see here that no matter where I put it, it does not drop under its own weight. That ensures that the forks are holding the barrel just snug enough so you won't have any lateral play when you're aiming the rifle. Reinserting the spring kit. Alright, I use the spring vise to get things started. Once the pins have been started, you can go ahead and tap them in by adding just a little bit of downward pressure to relieve the tension on those pins. And then we can just tap them down into place. Once the pins are in place, you're done. All that's left to do is put the action back into the stock. Okay, so we've got the Diana Model 34 air rifle back out here on the bench, and we're about to run it over the chronograph and see if we were able to make a difference as far as the extreme spread on this rifle goes. I'd like to get it settled down somewhere around 10 feet per second. Now obviously we just did a tune, so nothing's sealed up yet the way it should be. The piston seal is still a little ununiform within that cylinder. The breech seal is still finding its seat, but I'm hoping we can still get some better results than what we had when we were at 22 foot per second maximum extreme spread. So without wasting any more time, let's get this thing across the chronograph and we'll see how we made out. I'm going to fire a couple of warm-up shots first, just to get the gun settled in a little bit. Just down into the ground. Sure sounds sweet. It cocks so nice and smooth. The action is fast. Very fast recoil. Very fast lock time on this rifle, which should translate into very good accuracy. Now that kit that we put in here was the soft kit, so it's producing somewhere around 12 foot-pounds of energy. Or at least that's what it's supposed to be doing. We'll calculate that for you too once we do this chronograph. Alright, let's run one over the chrono and see what we got. Shot number 1. 851. I'm seeing a little smoke, so it might be diesel a little bit. We're going to get some inconsistent results if that's the case. 852. Shot number 3. 840. So 852. That's 12 foot per second spread so far. This is shot number 4. 840 again, duplicate number. And finally shot number 5. Again, we got 840, so that's pretty consistent. We'll run the average for you and we'll see what we got for an extreme spread. I think it's 12 feet per second if my memory is right about these shots, but let's put it up and we'll see. Okay, so I'd call that a success. We got the extreme spread down to, I'm guessing now, you guys are seeing the results before me, but I think it was 12 feet per second, which is pretty much ideal. If we can keep it around 10 feet per second, 12 is okay. I'm going to call that a job well done. And we're going to celebrate by ringing that bell out there at 60 yards. Now, it's a windy day, and I've got open sights, and I don't even know if they're zeroed yet, so this might take a couple of tries, but we want to ring the bell because when we have success here on the Pellets and Pistons Airgun channel, that's what we do. We ring the bell. So let's see if we can't do that. 60 yards. Missed on the first try. Give it another shot. All right, let's see. Well, that was quiet, but it rang it. Want to try one more time? What do you think? All right, let's give it one more shot. I don't even know if you heard that one. Let's see. That's better. So once again, I want to thank you folks for stopping by the Pellets and Pistons Airgun channel. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe. Hit the bell if you'd like to be reminded of future videos. And by all means, give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this one. Thanks so much, folks, and have a great day.